So I watched this movie back when I was a lot younger, back in my teenage years, and I really liked it. And I came back to this film because it's viewer request week, and this film was requested by one of our viewers. And I actually appreciate this thing more now. And I was not expecting to go in that direction.
I've never seen this movie, but I've heard so much about this, and I've seen like clips of it online. That's the thing. Killer Klowns from Outer Space is one of those movies that like is you either have seen it or like you've heard of it.
It's definitely one of those like things. It's one of those things where
it's a cult classic.
It is a cult classic, absolutely. But it is also such a weird cult classic that I absolutely know why everyone out there talks about this. Mm-hmm. It is such a weird cult classic that everybody out there, you've heard it mentioned at one point or another.
I mean, just the title alone.
The title sells this thing alone. It's like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you hear that name and you just go, yeah, okay, sure, I'll check this out. This, by the way, it was requested by Caleb Santos, so thank you for that request. So, as I said, I watched this film when I was a kid, and I really liked it because it was cheesy and goofy and stupid, but watching it as an adult, I am impressed by how cheesy and goofy and stupid this film is. Because this is a crazy idea, and they leaned all the way in on this.
And you have to when you got such a crazy, silly idea.
And I gotta respect that. Like, I am not, like, using that word as an exaggeration. I legitimately respect the people who made this film. Because you came up with this insane idea, and you didn't come in here and try and tap that down in any way. Anytime that you said, what can we do in this scene, you did it. That's actually really impressive filmmaking, in my opinion. Even Martin Scorsese thinks that this classifies as cinema. No, he doesn't. Not getting into that. Anyway, yeah, so this film, it's self-explanatory. It is, something comes down, crash lands in the woods. This old man and his dog Blue, he goes out there and check on it. Which the dog is the first thing to die in here, and this is one of those films that it really didn't feel like the dog would die, because it feels too goofy for that. But yeah, the dog goes out, and then the man, one of the best performances in this entire thing. The man just looks over there. She goes, oh, give me my dog back, Blue. Give me that dog back. I'm going to tear this thing down with my bare hands. He is, like, this actor they got for that role, he knows what this is. He knows what character he's playing. He gives 110% on that performance. He is only here for 5 seconds, but he makes the most of that 5 seconds. So, yeah, these clowns come out, wrap this man up in cotton candy, which that's what they do with all of their victims. They spray him with a gun that just covers them in cotton candy. And this, again, it's one of the weird things about this film is that you look at it and you just go, okay, so it's going to be, it's going to be like this level of goofy, or it's going to be this level of fun and silly, but it's not going to be like, it's going to be anything like that. Anytime that they, like, peel the cotton candy off, you see their faces underneath, their faces are covered in blood. Like, it's supposed to be implying, like, they're ripping their skin off when they take the cotton candy off. Yeah, this film, it's kind of all over the place. But it's not all over the place because they didn't know what they wanted to do. They knew what they wanted to do, and it was all over the place. Gotta respect that. But then it follows our two protagonists as they, like, go into there. They go into the big circus tent, which is the spaceship that they use.
A spaceship, like, circus tent.
Yes. They go inside there, and you see them, like, reacting to, wait a minute, I don't believe in UFOs, but I think we're inside of one right now. Every line read in here, again, it's so over the top. And it was watching the performance that they gave inside the circus tent that suddenly hit me. I think this is supposed to be an homage to 50s horror films.
Yeah, exactly.
It absolutely has that feeling to it. And it's weird because it was made in the 80s, and the 80s have their own tone of horror. Like, a lot of 80s films, they have their own, like, tone to them. And this is that weird, perfect mesh between 50s horror films and 80s horror films. And again, I didn't appreciate that when I was a kid, but now that I know the distinction between the two of them, I can look at this thing and go, oh man, this is totally an 80s film paying homage to 50s film, and it kind of feels like both of them. I'm really impressed by this.
So, like, I was also impressed with, like, the effects and everything.
Oh my god!
Yeah, like the settings, like the makeup, and it just
again.
They went out.
This is a film where they gave 110% on this thing. It's not like they said, "Oh, Killer Klowns from Outer Space," and it was like some clown in a space helmet or something. No, they are big puppet people walking around. They're like 7 feet tall people in these suits.
And they have like 4 fingers instead of and 5, and it's like...
And the faces! It's not makeup on a person's face.
No.
They're all big rubber masks, but they're fully animatronic rubber masks. And this was, again, back in the 80s when not a lot of people had the technology to do stuff like that. And they were using this technology for the time was really advanced on Killer Klowns from Outer Space. Because I know there's going to be some people out there that's like, no, they could do animatronic faces back then. It's like, not quite to this level. This is some really distinct animatronics. Like, there's a moment in which a clown goes up to someone's house and gives them a box of chocolate. And then it cuts to the clown's face and it's like, big smile. Like, instantly, like, the two back and forth. And yeah, these days, there's a lot of animatronics that can do that. I didn't see a lot of stuff like that back in the 80s. This was really impressively detailed. And there's so much stuff in there. It really feels like they had a big old whiteboard and they just filled it up with every idea they could come up with. Like they called a meeting, got all the writers together, all the directors, and they just said, all right, what ideas could we have for clowns that are killer monsters? And they list off every idea they could have, and they didn't cut any of them. In fact, I remember when I was in my teens, I owned this on DVD. I don't know if I still do, but I actually listened to the director commentary on this thing, and the directors actually said, yeah, the idea that got us to make this film was we were driving one night and we stopped and we thought, what would be the scariest thing that we could turn to the left, like look out the driver's side window and see? What would be the scariest thing we would see? And they came to the conclusion, a clown. And there's literally a scene in here of just some random person driving his car trying to get away from the clown. And the clown is riding around on nothing.
Yeah.
Just like he's got headlights on his shoes and like he has an invisible steering wheel. That's just how he's like me right now. Like if this was a car, what I'm doing right now. Just like going right next to the guy. They literally took like the premise that they had for what got them to make this film, put it in the film. That kind of speaks to how any idea they had, they put in this movie. And that's the charm of this film. They start off with the cotton candy guns. And any other film, you do something like this, would be like, okay, cotton candy guns. Cool. That's gotta be the thing they do. But then they've got like a popcorn cannon. And the popcorn chases them down and gets on them. And then there's a moment when she takes her clothes off and because she's about to take a shower. And the popcorn's on the ground. And the popcorn starts like moving around. Which I still don't know how they did that.
That was really freaky, honestly.
That was good. Was that claymation green screen? Because I've seen the green screens in this film. They're not that great. I mean, for 80s films, they were fine.
Like, I figured there was just like a little, like, tiny mechanic with a button that just squirmed a bit.
That's what I kept thinking, but man, it's the size of a popcorn kernel. So to have like a tiny animatronic that small back in the 80s, I'm impressed. I really am. So the popcorn's in there. And then the popcorn like grows into big like Hydra clown faces.
Like they're Jack in the Boxes.
Oh, is that what they are? Oh God, you're right.
Killer Clown Jack in the Boxes.
You're right, that's exactly what they were. So there's that, but it's like, okay, so that's 2 things. That's all you gotta get in here, right? They've got like a Punch and Judy like thing that someone goes up to watch, and the Punch and Judy thing like is a ray gun that blasts someone. And there's another thing in here where they're making shadow puppets to entertain people.
And then the shadow puppets eat them. And then there were the pies. Like, basically everything you can think of that associates with a clown, they decided to use it, like, as a weapon or something.
They've got the car that fits, like, a dozen of them inside. Yeah. It's so impressive how they just had 1,000 ideas. And they're like, we're putting them all in this thing. We're putting them all. And they all fit. And because they put all of them in here, it does make you stop and have to look at this thing and just go, wow, man, the Killer Klowns from Outer Space are some of the most creative villains in any horror film I've ever seen. Because they have so many things, like, what? Freddy's got his gloves and dreams. Okay, that's pretty impressive. Jason's got the machete. All right, whatever. Clowns, they've got pies, they got cotton candy, they got the popcorn, they got the shadow puppets, they got all this stuff.
These clowns put Pennywise to shame.
Oh, yeah. This is, man. I really, again, I did not appreciate this thing when I was a kid. This thing is really damn impressive. Although I will say, this film, it is kind of basically just the premises. That's the one thing that I gotta say about this movie. It is basically just them going, okay, what can we put in this movie? And they just did. Because, like, there's no point to the story or anything.
No.
Like, there's no, like, actually, no, I'm gonna take that back a little bit. I was about to say there's no character development. There actually kind of is, and there's actually, like, there's a message in here with the male characters that is really progressive for the time. Because any 80s film, whenever there was the girl, and then there's the two guys, they're kind of fighting over her, they're, of course, like, that's going to be the film. Like, one of the guys is going to end up dying, you know it, or one of the guys is going to be a total jerk. And here, there's the girl and the guy, and then they have to go to get help. And the guy they go for help is a cop. The cop used to be her boyfriend.
Her ex.
Her ex. But you can still tell they have, like, a pretty good relationship. He's like, yeah, I know we're not dating, but I still care about you, so I want to make sure that you're safe. Like, okay, well, you can tell it's not, like, a romantic thing, really. So that's kind of like, all right. And yes, the current boyfriend is a little bit like, oh, that's your I can't believe you didn't tell me that was your boyfriend. They get over that pretty damn quick.
Yeah.
They get past that pretty quick, and towards the end of this thing, yeah, they're all just on the same team. Like, there's no arguing about, I still love you, you have to leave him for me, you have to choose between... There's none of that shit in here. She has moved on, this is her boyfriend, they're the couple, the ex-boyfriend, totally fine with this, gotta help him save the day. You don't get a lot of shit like that in 80s films. I was genuinely impressed by that in here. But yes, this film, a lot of it is just... What can we do with these clowns? And it's basically just like mini skits of the clowns. And that would be a problem for like the pacing and the storytelling of this if it wasn't so flippin' entertaining.
My only complaint is like, I wish they pushed it a little more. Like, I want to see like more gags and everything.
I would have said that, except I think at the end they absolutely do, because you want to talk about how this film just goes off. And by the way, you can find this film pretty much anywhere. Like, it's on Amazon Prime. I saw, like, apparently it's on YouTube for free, and I don't mean, like, someone uploaded it. I think, like, YouTube has, like, an official free release with commercials in there or something. So, yeah, you can find this anywhere. So if you want to watch this, tune out now. But at the end of this thing is that, like, the big showdown with them. And what do they do for the big showdown? All of a sudden... A King Kong-sized clown comes down on, like, puppet strings. And then they get released, and then, like, you've got, like, a kaiju clown just going around. I forgot about that. And I was just looking at that going, oh, my God, that's actually really, really damn good. The only character, like, I'm trying to think of, like, characters in here that I didn't like, but... All the characters in here, even the ones you don't like, they're so stupidly over the top.
Yeah, like the guys with the ice cream truck.
That's exactly what I was thinking of right now. Like, there's the two guys with the ice cream truck, the brothers who rented an ice cream truck to try and get chicks because it's an 80s film. Again, you keep talking about how the performances in here and the concept in here is so like a 50s film, but then you got those guys in here. It's like, yeah, you're straight out Revenge of the Nerds. That's what you are. You look at the characters like that in here, and you should really dislike them, but they come around towards the end and kind of really help out and actually contribute to this. So you can't really dislike them all that much. Plus they have one of the weirdest payoffs to their running gag.
They do.
They have one of the weirdest payoffs because their running gag is they're trying to get chicks this entire time. Like there's even a moment when our hero is trying to get them to take the ice cream truck because he can't take his car to go over to the girlfriend's place because she's in danger. And they just go, does she have any roommates? Yeah, 2 roommates. Two gorgeous, and they got big boobs. That's the kind of characters these are. He had to say that to get them to go. At the end of this, they're all in the big spaceship together. And they fall into a pit of balls, into a ball pit, if you will. And then when they come out, there's 2 female clowns there, one of whom has inflating breasts. And rather than freaking out at it, they just look at them and go, are you her roommates? the payoff to that guy? It's again, that is such an 80s joke.
It is.
It is. But man, yeah, I really am shocked at how much I like this film. I really was expecting me to watch this and go, it's kind of fun, but it's stupid fun, and I appreciate it more as a kid when I didn't really judge films critically. No, judging this film critically, I see so many positives in it. It's weird.
I really like the clown's weak spot.
Oh my God, yes. By the way, there's a moment in here, right before they discover the weak spot, which they're going in there, the cop is going in there, and he's going in the police station, and this was after the jerky cop, who is played by the Dean from Animal House, by the way, and he's playing the Dean from Animal House just as a cop, because every line out of his mouth is, "You punk kids." There's a moment in which he is going on a tangent because he gets a call from someone saying, "There's a clown outside trying to get in. Who do you think this is?" And he hangs up and goes, "Damn kids, their daddy's money, taking them to college, expecting me to babysit them." That's the level of just dickishness that this character is. So he ends up, a clown comes in there, he arrests him, takes him into the jail cell. And of course, he ends up dying, which there's a line early on in this film in which he's yelling, it's like, "You might be a dummy, but you'll never make me a dummy." And the moment he said that, I just went, I've forgotten a lot about this film, but I instantly know what's going to happen to this character. And yeah, the clown ends up killing him, and when the cop comes in and sees his commanding officer there dead, he's now got blood trails coming outside of his mouth like a dummy mouth. And he's got big red cheeks, and he's pale from blood loss. And oh my God, that's actually really clever. And he's talking, and the clown's doing a ventriloquist act with him. And the clown takes his hand out, and it's not a magic thing either. The clown shoved his hand in there, so the back of his hand is now just bloody, and it's just got this really good sound effect in there. But yeah, he's walking into the police station, and there's clown shoe prints everywhere, on the ground, on the wall, everywhere he's fighting cocoons of candy, cotton candy cocoons just hanging up everywhere. And the moment I saw that, I just went, Resident Evil 2, the remake of Resident Evil 2, has had so many mods for it. Someone mod Mr. X to be Thomas the Tank Engine, because they always do Thomas the Tank Engine. But someone just mod Mr. X now to be the Goose from Untitled Goose Game. Someone mod it to be every character is a character from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And they've got big anime manga lines all over the place whenever something happens. I really want to see someone do a Killer Klowns from Outer Space mod for that, and just put the clown shoe prints all over the police station, mod all the zombies to be clowns, mod Mr. X to be a clown, make Leon wear the uniform of the cop in this one. But then I forgot about their weak spot, and he's shooting this clown. The clown keeps coming. Then he shoots him in the nose. The nose bursts open with glitter, starts spinning around, and then bam, he explodes. And the moment that happened, I went, maybe they should just make this a video game.
Yeah.
And then at the end of this, there's literally a boss fight. There's literally a boss fight. I'm not saying that you need to make a giant AAA video game out of this, but whoever owns the rights to this thing, find some indie company out there that can do a pretty damn good third-person shooter, and just make a $20 you play it for 2-3 hours kind of thing. Bam, done. I'll sign up for that thing. I want to kickstart that shit. Seriously, who do I need to get in touch with to make this thing happen? I want to see this happen. Man, I would love for there to actually be a Killer Klowns from Outer Space video game. Again, not a big thing, twice the length of this thing, of the actual movie. You've already got 12 different clown skins in here you can use. That's another thing that we gotta say. There's so many clown designs. It's not 3 clowns that they just use over and over and over again. There's 6 or 7 that you see going around town. And at the end of this, you have a dozen, you have almost 20 different clowns storming up to these people, going up to them, trying to get them as they're hiding on the top of this big thing. And every single one of them was different. They didn't repeat any of them in there. There's a bunch in there that you've never seen throughout this entire film until this moment, just to be in a big crowd shot. It's really impressive. I mean, I'm sure some of them might have been reskins of other clowns.
Maybe they were the Jack in the Box clowns that grew up.
No, I'm not saying like plot-wise. That's why there's a bunch of new ones.
No, I'm just saying like that's just my theory as to why there are more.
Oh, so that's how they make.
That's how they like duplicate or repopulate.
Oh no, I'm saying that they're just like they were just in the ship the whole time. They
Okay.
just didn't go into town.
Yeah, okay, that
but
makes
what I'm saying
sense.
is, from a production viewpoint, you could have just repeated the clowns. We wouldn't have like argued anything. And I'm sure that a lot of them were repeat costumes. They probably had multiple clown costumes, and this was like the last shoot in the entire film. And they went, all right, we've used all the other clowns for everything that we need. Take the duplicate clown costumes, make them look as different as possible. You did not need to do that. They did. It is so great how over the top they went with this thing. I love it. But yeah, this film, I cannot believe how highly I'm recommending it. I can't. I like this film, but I wasn't expecting it to like really enjoy it that much the second time, and I certainly wasn't expecting to like it more. I wasn't expecting to have like an actual appreciation for this film on like a filmmaking level. This thing is really damn impressive. Anything else you want to say about this?
It's a cult classic for a reason.
Yes. This film's really good. So go there, check out Killer Klowns from Outer Space. That was the end of the final full week of the post-Shriek reaction. We only got 4 more days in this month. I can't believe it is almost over. The last 4 days, it's just gonna be random stuff. It's just gonna be like in those last 2 things that we wanted to watch that we didn't get to. If we can get into town, because I'm gonna be real busy, but if we can get into town, I'll try and see Addams Family. I'll try and see Zombieland 2, some other recent stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, come back for the final 4 days. Thank you guys for all the requests that you gave. See if your requests pop up again next year. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and happy Halloween.
Bye.